Oh, go figure. I want to make a video on this last night so freaking bad, guys. My internet at my hotel went to crap. The hotel lost some power. It was an interesting day, but I tell you what, we're back here today. We're gonna give you guys my thoughts on this UAMY deal. There's a couple different ways that this could have played out, and I want to give you all possible scenarios. So let's get into the video. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Trades. We have technical analysis in different stocks in the stock market, as well as potential buy, hold, or sell opinions on these given stocks. I'd like to preface by saying that I'm not a financial advisor nor expert, so take what I say with a grain of salt. Let's get into the video. Today, my friends, we're going to be looking at ticker symbol UAMY. This is a play that I put on people's radar quite a while ago. It would have been about a week ago, and I have talked about this on the channel about a month ago as well. But it has been doing some really nice stuff here, and I think there's a lot of potential upside in the company. We are going to be talking about the halts, right? And I'm going to tell you guys what they mean, the description of the halts, the two halts in particular that we are seeing here, and what potential news could be coming from these halts. But we're also going to look into the company itself in case you're new to the channel. Look at the fundamentals of the company, right? What they do, why you should care, some recent newscasts that could affect the price, and then do a little bit of analysis here on the charts for what they are. Take it with a grain of salt because there's not much happening right now. It's obviously halted. So let's just get into the video. You are going to hear my microwave beep here in just a second, so I apologize for that ahead of time. But what is the company? What is the why? What do they do? United States Antimony Corporation is engaged in the production and sale of antimony, silver, gold, and Zeolite products. The antimony is what we care about. The company is a mining, transportation, milling, smelting, and marketing company. It has three segments: United States Antimony Operations, Mexican Antimony Operations, and United States Zeolite Operations. Its operations include a smelter and a metal refinery in Montana, and a smelter and over 3 mills in Mexico. It operates through Antimony Division and Zeolite Division. Its antimony smelter and metal plant is located in the Burns Mining District of Sanders County, Montana. It also sells antimony metal for use in bearings, storage batteries, and ordnance. The property includes over 2 5-acre mill sites. Bear River Zeolite Company has zeolite on the United States Bureau of Land Management land. The property has over 2 dryer circuits, one for lines 1 and 2 and one for the Raymond Mill. The Raymond Mill has a rated capacity of over 10 tons per hour. And what is very interesting about U.S. Antimony, UAMY, is they are a very niche market within the States. From my understanding, they don't really have any competition within the States. And there's a lot of chitter-chatter about China, and we are going to get into this in a little bit, cutting off supply. That was my microwave, like I was saying, about China cutting off supply to the United States, right? And if this ends up happening, that is such a good thing for UAMY. That is going to drive the demand extremely high, because you cut off supply, there comes an increase in demand. That's just how the basics of economics works. So we're going to look at their website right here. And even though this thing looks like it's a 1990s DOD website, this thing is so goddamn outdated, looking like the original Windows. We're just going to take a peek at what they do. Right, so you can see United States Antimony Corporation, USAC, NYSE, UAMY is a rapidly growing natural resource company that is increasing its raw material supply of antimony from properties in Mexico and third parties around the world. So if they have any, supply chain in China, which I don't think they do, China, that would affect, things if they do have that, but I don't think they do from my understanding. They do have, the 3 mills in Mexico. They've got a refinery in Montana, and that from my understanding, that's what we're looking at right here. So they are mining that antimony, and antimony is a cool thing because it is relevant in the EV, the electric vehicle sector, and the clean energy sector as of now. To back that up, I've got a news article for us to read. This was posted on January 20. When was this posted? Sometime in January. So sometime in January of 2021, we have this article about UAMY. So shares of UAMY stock are up by almost 80% in the past month. Since late September, shares are up over 200%, which is another solid and albeit speculative gain. The company works as a mining business, including transportation, milling, smelting, and selling several materials. U.S. Antimony has several mining operations underway in North America, including the Bear River Zeolite and Precious Metals facility. The company produces antimony oxide, antimony metal, gold, silver, and zeolite. These have a wide variety of applications. This includes battery storage. This is the big thing for me, this battery storage. Cathode ray tube production, and more. Because of this, the company has found a trend in correlation with the EV market. Because of this, many investors categorize it as both an EV and rare earth penny stock. With Joe Biden being sworn into office this week, which he already was, the hope is that companies like UAMY could continue to grow into the future. Obviously, it will take some time for business to pick up with this news. For this reason, UAMY could be one of the ancillary EV penny stocks to watch right now. And we do see here, this was posted a while back, it would have been February 11th, which was about a week ago. China's supply chain, backdoor money, huge priority for Biden Pentagon. What is clear is that this issue of technology competition is of increasing importance in the U.S.-China relationship, Secretary of Defense Advisor Eli Ratner said, and it's a huge priority for the administration. So that's very interesting if this ends up happening. They end up cutting off the China supply chain, or if China cuts off the U.S., I should say, because that's going to increase the demand in certain products that are produced or mined in the States, such as UAMY. Now, I do want to pull up here UAMY on StockTwist, because there was another thing that I've seen circulating around that I think is worthwhile for talking about. And it was that Bill Gates was on the news today about climate change. And the reason that this could be significant is because Bill Gates is an investor in AMRI, which is something that I'm going to be talking about here very soon. Now, it very easily could be a coincidence. I think it's a little bit of a stretch to assume that just because Bill Gates is on the news, that something good's going to happen with UAMY, right? That's a very, very wide line to connect the dots with. But nonetheless, Gates was on the news today talking about climate change, and he's invested in a company called AMRI. Now, if we just pull this up right here, United States Antimony signed a non-binding letter of interest regarding the potential supply of antimony with AMRI. And as I mentioned, Bill Gates is invested in AMRI. So that could be very significant. Additionally, U.S. Antimony is pleased to announce that it has signed a non-binding letter of interest regarding the potential supply of antimony with AMRI, a company that utilizes antimony in its novel off-grid storage batteries. So now we're going to get into the halting. What do the halts mean? What could these potentially be doing? So we had a T1 and a T2 halt. To give you the clearest cut answer that I can, because I've seen a lot of things floating around on the internet, this is what they are. Very, very word for word, coming straight off their website. T1 is a halt for news pending. Trading is halted pending the release of material news. This is the first halt that we saw. The second halt that we saw was a T2. News released. The news has begun the dissemination process through a Regulation FD compliant method. So from my understanding, this could be for a couple different reasons. I've seen some people saying that there might be some fraudulence, that the SEC is investigating them. That's the worst case scenario here, right? Worst case scenario is that they had that direct offering that just happened, right? So we can pull this up on Webull, take a look at recent news. You can see they had a $14.3 million registered direct offering. So the SEC could have investigated this, found some fraudulence. That is the worst case scenario here with UAMY, right? Second scenario would be this to me, the UAMY and AMRI deal. I think this is very, very possible, right? So if they sign this non-binding letter of interest, that contract, right, saying that, hey, we might want to work with you down the road. This isn't binding you to anything, but this was posted back on the 9th of February, which was about, 9 days ago. So things could have changed, right? And if you look at the price action here before this got halted, right, it was very bullish. We saw a huge move. It was up about 20% in the pre-market, and then it halted, right? So my first instinct, my first speculation here is that you would not see a halt on bad news, right? So it's very possible that news could have leaked, right, to some people, to insiders possibly, to whoever it may be, right? And that could have affected the stock price of UAMY on this given day, right? So they halted. They're trying to clean up stuff, get that news ready to release, to give out that PR so that we can really see what's going on here with UAMY. But truth be told, nobody knows when this is going to unhalt. This could be halted for up to 10 days, right? Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not saying that's going to happen. It is very possible that we see it happen, right? But it's really going to depend on UAMY. I've seen a lot of people on the internet have been contacting the company on StockTwits saying, hey, there's this awesome, I love these secretary jokes. If you want to see something funny, just go on the UAMY StockTwits page and read through these secretary jokes. There's some good ones in there, but essentially that's how it's sitting right now. We're waiting on news to be released on UAMY, and that's why the stock is halted. My speculation is that it's something related to that AMRI deal, or there's also potential that they have a contract with the Department of Defense. Now, what do I mean by that? They have been working for about a year to get a contract with the Department of Defense, who is interested in using antimony as a battery source for, you guys can only imagine the amount of money that they'd be able to pump into UAMY for that, right? Use their antimony for different batteries or coolants within, U.S. Army technology and equipment, right? So if they end up getting a deal there, those are two possible scenarios in which we could see positive news catalyst. I'm more inclined to say that it's less likely to be negative news, right? Just based on the pre-market action. I find it possible to think that you saw a little bit of news get leaked and maybe some insiders bought into this, anticipating some hype coming up in the future. Before I got into this video, last night I saw it already, but I'm going to come over here to my Twitter and show you exactly what I'm talking about. I was looking at the level 2s. And I saw something very interesting. I shared this on Twitter, and I want to share with you guys right now. And it was the level 2s. We saw some pretty crazy limit orders. And one of them was for $15. We saw 1,200 shares waiting to get sold at $15. Now, that could just be a coincidence, but that's a lot of people waiting to sell at $15. Level 2 is going to be a great way to predict, as well as options, right? Upcoming price action. So that's very, very interesting. Last thing that I want to point out to you guys is the institutional ownership of the company. I want to show you guys everything from a completely non-biased perspective, and I do want to show you this as of right now. So what we have is some filings here, right? We've got on the 30th of January 2020, we have about 10% here, 12% here ownership, 11.9% here, and then Cardinal sold out back in 2013. So if this is relevant, I have seen discrepancies between these numbers before, that institutional ownership of 4.65%. But if this is relevant, take this for what it is. It could either be 30% or it could be 4.65%. I've seen both numbers not quite match up sometimes. Fintel I take with a grain of salt, but nonetheless, there is some institutional ownership here and no recent buyers. So I would like to see some recent buyers. That would give me a little more confidence in the fact that this is positive news catalyst. But nonetheless, that is how things are looking right now with UAMY. So we're just going to look at the 1 month chart here really quick. There's no way to predict what's going to happen here. Anybody that tells you they can predict what's going to happen is completely lying to you. But as it sits right now, this is as bullish gets. We've got this crossover between the 15 MA and the 200 MA right here. We had nice volume in the pre-market, unusual trading volume in the pre-market. Last 2 days it was dying down, but it was really getting ready to rip, my friends. It was really, really getting ready to rip. We're on this ascending level of support, right? We had this bullish flag formation starting to form. That insane wide range candle bar touching up at $2.15. As it sits right now, we are at $2. I see some people saying, hey Trey, why is this at $1.68? Why did it drop by 32 cents? It didn't, right? So $1.68 was the price that it closed at on the previous day. If you look here, $1.68 was the previous close. So that is where that number is coming from. Since it is suspended, the actual price, right, is not reflected in Webull or many other brokerage accounts until you actually get market open, right? So that is why you're seeing a discrepancy in numbers right there. I wish I could give you guys an optimal entry point here. Alas, I cannot, as there is, this halt happening right now with UAMY. But, excuse me one second, I got to sneeze. But nonetheless, a way that you can mitigate and get ready for when this is not halted anymore is to set a price alert on your brokerage account. So what you'd want to do is set a price alert plus or minus 1 cent above the current price of $1.68, meaning that if it goes 1 cent above 168, it'll alert you, and if it goes 1 cent below 168, it'll alert you, which essentially means, right, that once this starts moving again, you will know. So that would be my recommendation, so you can get on top of this the fastest that you possibly can. I know that most people are not able to even set orders right now on limit orders, so I wouldn't even attempt trying that. I would just watch as close as you can with UAMY to be ready for when this thing starts moving again. That is what I have for the video today, guys. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like. It really does help support the channel, and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more content like this. Lastly, I have an affiliate link in the description box down below for Webull. This is version 4 for the desktop. Absolutely great platform that allows you to start trading at 4 a.m. in the pre-market. If you use my link, you get 2 free stocks with a $100 deposit. I receive a free stock. Great way to support the channel, my friends, and if you're not interested, that is totally fine. I just appreciate your support by taking the time to watch my videos. Lastly, again, I have a link to the merch store in the description box down below. If you want to check that out as well, there's some pretty cool gear down there as well. So that is what I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching, my friends, and I will see you all next time. Peace.